Military COVID deaths are 7. So there isn't one word of that statement, which runs 32 seconds, that is comprehensible. Nothing, not one word in the entire statement makes any sense at all. Okay, so my submission to you is that Joe Biden helps Donald Trump. Trump is traveling around California with the wildfires. He's actually meeting with Gavin Newsom today. California is going to need federal money. Oregon's going to need federal money. This is just unbelievable what's going on out there. Millions and millions of acres burned, 33 dead at least. Now we are getting arson arrests. Anita Esquivel, 37, booked in Monterey County Jail. I know it well. I've spent a lot of time in Monterey. She's charged with arson. In Oregon, Domingo Lopez, Michael Bacalala, they're charged with arson. There are a lot of crazy people around. Let's bring in Bernard Whitman. He is a Democratic strategist, CEO of Whitman Insight Strategies. He used to work for Bill Clinton and Michael Bloomberg. So let's start with the Biden soundbite last week in Michigan, where he wasn't even close to saying anything coherent. As a Democrat, Bernard, did that bother you?
Bill, thanks for having me. No, what bothers me as a Democrat is the fact that Donald Trump has been president for 3.5 years, more than 3.5 years, and he's rarely, if anything, said anything that's actually factually correct, that is actually coherent, that's actually the truth. Donald Trump trades in lies, disinformation, fear, half-truths, conspiracy theories, and the like. And Joe Biden, okay, so it was a bit of a mess. He was reading something, obviously wasn't prepared right. He stumbled a bit. Who doesn't stumble a bit? It's one thing to stumble over a few words in an isolated case. It's another thing to systematically, over more than 3.5 years as president, actually lie repeatedly to the American people, which is exactly what he did on the coronavirus. In the Bob Woodward piece that you mentioned, it's not that Bob Woodward is doing in Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump's own words are doing in Donald Trump. All that book was a series of interviews and Donald Trump's own point of view. His point of view to downplay the virus, his point of view to lie to the American people, his point of view to not trust the American people to handle themselves, and his disregard and his contempt, frankly, for the American people resulted in nearly 200,000 deaths and millions of people out of work, the worst economy in multiple generations. And here we have a president that is running for re-election on that record.
Bernard, you spoke for about 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and it was coherent. I don't believe what you said is true, but it was coherent. Did Modi in India lie to his people?
I didn't see what Modi said, so I can't comment on that.
Okay, so we have did Macron in France, who issued instructions very early on what to do and not to do in COVID, did he lie to his people?
My French is okay, but again, I didn't hear what he said, so I can't say what he lied to.
Neither of them lied to their people, and they basically presented the facts as the scientists presented them. I don't feel lied to by President Trump. I think he was too hopeful, too optimistic. I think he played down. I think that's accurate. He said it himself for the sake of the economy, but I don't think he woke up in the morning and said, you know what, I'm going to lie to the American people about COVID today. Because number one, that would have been stupid because COVID would have unveiled the lie quickly, correct, right?
Well, look, the fact is he called it a Democratic hoax. He said it was like the flu. He said a shot would be available soon.
He said it was He said it was a hoax, but he was talking about the reportage of the virus, not the virus itself.
The reportage was not a hoax, Bill. It's killed almost 200,000 people. He said it was going to go away.
No human being on Earth,
none of this is true.
No human being on Earth could have stopped the virus from coming to the United States.
He repeatedly flouted science. He repeatedly ignored his advisors. He repeatedly even went against Dr. Fauci, who was the lead guy on this, suggesting that people wear masks. He has worn a mask in public, once or twice. He let the states into, basically, without any national standards, the states went into a massive free-for-all fighting for equipment. There's no standards. Schools are now in session without any proper equipment, any proper training, any proper guidance. The president basically said, you know what? It's not my responsibility. I wash my hands of it.
Okay.
This is
I
not
got
the
two
type of
kids
leader
in
that we
I
need.
got two kids in school and they're not in unsupervised chaotic places. So Bernard, you're overstating things as a partisan. And that's not what I want to do on this program. So let's go
I,
back to the first question. Does it bother you that in 32 seconds, a potential president of the United States does not state one accurate thing and doesn't know or realize? See, if you make a mistake verbally or I make a mistake verbally, we know instantly, or, well, I didn't mean that, or I'm sorry. He didn't even know what he was saying about military deaths and transmission of COVID was complete nonsense. He didn't
what
even know it. Doesn't that bother you?
what bothers me is the fact that this president has
All right, so you
consistently
won't answer the
lied to the
question.
American people.
Let's move ahead. Bernard, we're on the record. I asked you a simple question because I'm a simple man. You refuse to answer it. That is not good for your team. If you're trying to persuade people to vote for Joe Biden, you have to answer direct, simple
What bothers
questions.
me, Bill, is the
I know
fact that
what
you're taking
bothers you,
30
Bernard. You're
seconds
a
of a
Democrat.
40-year career. No, you take 30 seconds of a 40-year career and try to use
I
that
can
to sort of
show
show
you
that Joe Biden is out to
30
lunch.
of
It's
them.
simply not true.
What isn't true?
He has
What
far
isn't
more
true?
command of actually what's going on in America and how to solve problems, how to bring people together, how to fight COVID, how to
Okay.
bring jobs back, how to get health care returned to the American people than President Trump ever will. And to take 30 seconds and say, oh, well,
Okay.
he stumbled over a few words and therefore he's incompetent is unfair at best.
I can show you 30 other examples of him speaking and he doesn't know what he's saying. But your submission to our audience is that Joe Biden's record of achievement is far beyond Donald Trump's. And as a Democrat, I respect it. All right? As you being a Democrat, I'm not going to argue with that. That's your opinion. Tell me one thing, just one, that Joe Biden has said on the record that is different from what President Trump has done on the record to combat COVID. One thing.
Trust science. Follow
That's not,
science.
that's gobbledygook.
That's fundamental. No,
One,
it's not gobbledygook. It's
one
fundamental.
concrete
It's fundamental.
thing.
Wear masks.
One,
Wear masks.
Trump said
Done.
wear masks.
One thing, wear masks. Trump held an indoor rally in Nevada against the state's regulations with no one wearing masks. How can you say that Trump is encouraging people to wear masks, which is the single greatest thing that's going to actually help stop this virus and contain the spread?
Trump has said wear the mask. Biden has said wear the mask. Now, I agree with you. I didn't think it was a smart move
So,
to hold an
so
indoor
do what I
rally
say,
in
not
Nevada.
what I do.
What?
So Trump is saying do it. So Trump is saying
No.
do what I say, not as I do.
What I'm looking for, I'll cede that Donald Trump could have been more methodical in the way that he dealt with COVID. I'll cede that. Now, I understand the playing it down business, and I've explained it. You can either agree or disagree. But I have researched Joe Biden as well as any human being on this planet, and he has not put forth one specific thing that would have mitigated the COVID virus. Not one policy. He was late to the game. He criticized Trump for stopping the China flights. He has nothing. If you go to his website right now and look, he has nothing. Go ahead.
So Joe Biden in the Obama administration put forward a task force to combat pandemics that was disabled, dismembered, and destroyed by the Trump administration. So when, in fact, this pandemic started to rear its ugly head in December, there was no way the Trump administration could actually get a hold of it because it had dissembled all the information, all the people, and all the processes that actually could have helped stop this spread.
And that's a legitimate
Biden
debate question. And I hope Chris Wallace is watching this broadcast. He should ask President Trump why, or if he even knew that arm of the federal government was being dissembled. Hey, Bernard, good debate, very lively. Do you agree, one real quick one, that September 29th tells a tale in this election?
I think it will tell a significant tale, but we'll have still several weeks to go. I think 6 weeks after that. So I think there's going to be a lot more runway to go.
All right. Thanks for helping us out. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
Let's go to Los Angeles.